Hey y'all, Michelle Raza here with the Finding Yourself Book Club. And today is Saturday, so it's Science Fiction Saturday. We're going to be continuing with Robert Heinlein's Stranger in a Strange Land. Please do like and subscribe. It really does help us little YouTubers. And if you're interested in some more serious stuff, we have a few playlists that could benefit you. First of which is Lindsay Gibson's Coping with Emotionally Immature Parents. And then we have one on John Gottman's What Makes Love Last, really focusing on romantic relationships. There's, of course, this one, Science Fiction Saturday. I have one on coping with domestic violence, where it goes through the traits, the power and control wheel related to domestic violence. And then finally, there's one with John and Julie Gottman, and that's them in their own words explaining a lot about relationship advice. So happy you're here with me. We did just break 300 subscribers last week, so we're slowly but surely getting there. Definitely appreciate all of your commentary, and thank you for being here and for spending time with me today. So without further ado, we'll get started. Stranger in a Strange Land, one of my favorites. Jill Boardman placed the bug without difficulty. The patient in the adjacent room in the next corridor was bedfast. Jill often stopped to gossip. She stuck it against the wall over a closet shelf while chattering about how the maids just never dusted high in the closets. Removing the spool the next day and inserting a fresh one was just as easy. The patient was asleep. She woke while Jill was still perched on a chair and seemed surprised. Jill diverted her with a spicy and imaginary ward rumor. Jill sent the exposed wire by mail, using the hospital's post office as the impersonal blindness of the postal system seemed safer than a cloak and dagger ruse. But her attempt to insert a third fresh spool she muffed. She had waited for a time when the patient was asleep, but had just mounted the chair when the patient woke up. "Oh, hello, Miss Boardman." Jill froze with one hand on the wire recorder. "Hello, Miss Fritchley," she managed to answer. "Have a nice nap?" "Fair," the woman answered peevishly. "My back aches." "I'll rub it." "Doesn't help much. Why are you always fiddling around in my closet? Is something wrong?" Jill tried to re-swallow her stomach. The woman wasn't really suspicious, she told herself. "Mice," she said vaguely. "Mice? Oh, I can't abide mice. I'll have to have another room right away." Jill tore the little instrument off the closet wall and stuffed it into her pocket, jumped down from the chair, and spoke to the patient. Now, Miss Fritchley, I was just looking to see if there were any mouse holes in your closet. There aren't." "You sure?" "Quite sure. Now let's rub the back, shall we? Easy over." Jill decided she could not plant the bug in that room again and concluded that she would risk attempting to place it in the empty room which was part of K-12, the suite of the man from Mars. But it was almost time for her relief before she was free again. She got the pass key, only to find that she did not need it. The door was unlocked and held two more Marines. The guard had been doubled. One of them glanced up as she opened the door. "Looking for someone?" "No, don't sit on the bed, boys," she said crisply. "If you need more chairs, we'll send for them." She kept her eye on the guard while he got reluctantly up. Then she left, trying to conceal her trembling. The bug was still burning a hole in her pocket when she went off duty. She decided to return it to Caxton at once. She changed clothes, shifted it to her bag, and went to the roof. Once in the air and headed toward Ben's apartment, she began to breathe easier. She phoned him in flight. "Caxton speaking." "Jill, Ben, I want to see you. Are you alone?" He answered slowly. "I don't think it's smart, kid. Not now. Ben, I've got to see you. I'm on your way over." "Well, okay, if that's how it's got to be." Such enthusiasm. "Now look, hun, it isn't that Bye." She switched off, calmed down, and decided not to take it out on poor Ben. Fact was, they both were playing out of their league. At least she was. She should have stuck to nursing and left politics alone. She felt better when she saw Ben, and better yet when she kissed him and snuggled into his arms. Ben was such a dear. Maybe she really should marry him. But when she tried to speak, he put a hand over her mouth, then whispered close to her ear, Don't talk. No names and nothing but trivialities. I may be wired by now." She nodded and he led her into the living room. Without speaking, she got out the wire recorder and handed it to him. His eyebrows went up when he saw that she was returning not just to school, but the whole works, but he made no comment. Instead, he handed her a copy of the Afternoon Post. "Seen the paper?" he said in a natural voice. "You might like to glance at it while I wash up." "Thanks." As she took it, he pointed to a column, then left. He then left, taking with him the recorder. Jill saw the column was Ben's own syndicated outlet. The Crow's Nest by Ben Caxton. Everyone knows that jails and hospitals have one thing in common. They both can be very hard to get out of. In some ways, a prisoner is less cut off than a patient. A prisoner can send for his lawyer, can demand a fair witness, he can invoke habeas corpus and require the jailer to show cause in open court. But it takes only a simple no visitor sign ordered by one of the medicine men of our peculiar tribe to consign a hospital patient to oblivion more thoroughly than ever was the man in the iron mask. To be sure, the patient's next of kin cannot be kept out by this device, but the man from Mars seems to have no next of kin. The crew of the ill-fated Envoy had few ties on Earth. If the man in the iron mask, the man from Mars, has any relative who is guarding his interests, a few thousand inquisitive reporters, such as your present scrivener, have been unable to verify it. Who speaks for the man from Mars? Who ordered an armed guard placed around him? What is his dread disease that no one may catch a glimpse of him, nor ask him a question? I address you, Mr. Secretary General. The explanation about physical weakness and G fatigue won't wash. If that were the answer, a 90-pound nurse could do as well as an armed guard. Could this disease be financial in nature? Or, let's say it softly, is it political? There was more, all in the same vein. Jill could see that Ben was deliberately baiting the administration, trying to force them to bring Smith out into the open. What that would accomplish, she did not know. Her own horizon not encompassing high politics and high finance. She felt, rather than knew, that Caxton was taking serious risk in challenging the established authorities, but she had no notion of the size of the danger, nor of what form it might take. She thumbed through the rest of the paper. It was well loaded with follow-up stories on the return of the champion, with pictures of Secretary General Douglas pinning medals on the crew, interviews with Captain Van Tromp and other members of his brave company, pictures of Martians and Martian cities. There was very little about Smith, merely a medical bulletin that he was improving slowly but satisfactorily from the effects of his trip. Ben came out and dropped some sheets of onion skin in her lap. "Here's another newspaper you might like to see," he remarked and left again. Jill soon saw that the other newspaper was a transcription of what her first wire had picked up. As typed out, it was marked first voice, second voice, and so on. But Ben had gone back and written in names wherever he had been able to make attributions later. He had written across the top, "All voices, identified or not, are masculine." Most of the items were of no interest. They simply showed that Smith had been fed or washed or massaged, and that each morning and afternoon he had been required to get up and exercise under the supervision of a voice identified as Dr. Nelson and a second voice marked Second Doctor. Jill decided that this must be Dr. Thaddeus. But one longish passage had nothing to do with the physical care of the patient. Jill read it and reread it. Dr. Nelson: "How are you feeling, boy? Are you strong enough to talk for a while?" Smith: "Yes." Dr. Nelson: "A man wants to talk to you." Smith: Pause. "Who?" Caxton had written in, "All of Smith's speeches are preceded by long pauses, some longer than others." Nelson: "This man is our great, untranscribable guttural word. Martian?" So here Ben's making a note, thinks it's Martian. "He is our oldest old one. Will you talk to him?" Smith, very long pause. "I am great happy. The old one will talk and I will listen and grow." Nelson: No, he wants to ask you questions." Smith, I cannot teach an old one. Nelson, the old one wishes it. Will you let him ask you questions? Smith, yes. Background noises, short delay. Nelson, this way, sir. I have Dr. Mahmoud standing by, ready to translate for you. Jill read, new voice. Caxton had scratched this out and had written in, Secretary General Douglas. Secretary General, I won't need him. You say Smith understands English? Nelson, well, yes and no, Your Excellency. He knows quite a number of words, but as Mahmoud says, he doesn't have any cultural context to hang the words on. It can be rather confusing. Secretary General, oh, we'll get along all right, I'm sure. When I was a youngster, I hitchhiked all through Brazil without knowing a word of Portuguese when I started. Now, if you will just introduce us, then leave us alone. Nelson, sir, I think I had better stay with the patient. Secretary General, really, doctor? I'm afraid I must insist. Sorry. Nelson, and I'm afraid that I must insist. Sorry, sir, medical ethics. Secretary General, interrupting. As a lawyer, I know a little something of medical jurisprudence, so don't give me that medical ethics mumbo-jumbo. Really. Did this patient select you? Nelson, not exactly, but... Secretary General, just as I thought. Has he had any opportunity to make a choice of physicians? I doubt it. His present status is that of ward of the state. I am acting as his next of kin de facto, and you will find de jure as well. I wish to interview him alone. Nelson. Long pause, then very stiffly. If you put it that way, Your Excellency, I withdraw from the case. Secretary General. Don't take it that way, doctor. I didn't mean to get your back hair up. I'm not questioning your treatment. But you wouldn't try to keep a mother from seeing her son alone, now would you? Are you afraid that I might hurt him? Nelson. No, but... Secretary General. Then what is your objection? Come now, introduce us and let's get on with it. This fussing may be upsetting your patient. Nelson. Your Excellency, I will introduce you. Then you must select another doctor for your ward. Secretary General. I'm sorry, doctor. I really am. I can't take that as final. We'll discuss it later. Now, if you please. Nelson. Step over here, sir. Son, this is the man who wants to see you. Our great old one. Smith. Untranscribable Martian. Secretary General. What did he say? Nelson. Sort of a respectful greeting. Mahmoud says it translates to, I am only an egg. More or less of that, anyway. He used to use it on me. It's friendly. Son, talk, man, talk. Smith, yes. Nelson. And you had better use simple one-syllable words, if I may offer a last advice. Secretary General. Oh, I will. Nelson. Goodbye, Your Excellency. Goodbye, son. Secretary General. Thanks, doctor. See you later. Secretary General continued. How do you feel? Smith. Feel fine. Secretary General. Good. Anything you want, just ask for it. We want you to be happy. Now, I have something I want you to do for me. Can you write? Smith. Write? What is write? Secretary General. Well, your thumbprint will do. I want to read a paper to you. This paper has a lot of lawyer talk, but stated simply, it says that you agree that in leaving Mars, you have given up any claims that you may have there. Understand me? You assign them in trust to the government. Smith, no answer. Secretary General, well, let's put it this way. You don't own Mars, do you? Smith, longish pause. I do not understand. Secretary General, let's try it this way. You want to stay here, don't you? Smith, I do not know. I was sent by the old ones. Long, untranscribable speech sounds like a bullfrog fighting a cat. Secretary General, damn it, they should have taught him more English by now. See here, son, you don't have to worry about these things. Just let me have your thumbprint here at the bottom of this page. Let me have your right hand. No, don't twist around that way. Hold still. I'm not going to hurt you. Dr. Nelson. Second doctor, yes, sir. Secretary General, get Dr. Nelson. Second doctor, Dr. Nelson? But he has left, sir. He said you took him off the case. Secretary General, Nelson said that? Damn him. Well, do something. Give him artificial respiration. Give him a shot. Don't just stand there. Can't you see the man is dying? Second doctor, I don't believe there's anything to be done, sir. Just let him alone until he comes out of it. That's what Dr. Nelson always did. Secretary General, blast Dr. Nelson! And that's where we'll stop for today. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for spending time on your Saturday evening watching our Science Fiction Saturday series. We will pick up next week. I hope you have a great week. Please do like and subscribe. And thanks for all of your comments and spending your time with me. And I really do appreciate it. It sounds so corny, but it's me behind like the YouTube. I manage my own YouTube. I interact with you guys, and it really brings me a lot of joy. So thank you and have a great week. Bye.